Hi, everybody. My name is Luis Salva. I am your college outreach ambassador from the Early Academic Outreach Program here at UC San Diego. And I wanted to welcome you all to the second session of our mini web series, Systems of Higher Education. Today, we're going to focus on the California State University system. And with me, I have my guest speaker, Fernando Calvillo.
Hi everyone.
So let's get started, everybody. So first, what are the Cal State Universities or the CSUs? So the Cal State University system is a public education system that is made up of 23 undergraduate schools here in California. They're all across California, ranging from here in San Diego and all the way to Humboldt. So there's an extensive amount of schools, much larger than the UCs. So what majors are available to take at these Cal States? So these are just the top majors at the overall Cal States, ranging from humanities to social sciences to hospitality management, all the way to hardcore STEM such as chemistry and engineering. Again, these are just a very small list of what available majors there are. My advice would be to look at each specific school that you're trying to research and see which majors are available there. This list doesn't mean that they're gonna have them there. It might range from the ones that are on screen and from much more or much less. So how much does it cost to attend a Cal State? So the average cost of attendance before financial aid for in-state students is $27,512. The average cost of attendance before financial aid for out-of-state students is around $35,000. Undocumented students fall under the out-of-state category, but they can receive an AB 450 waiver, which is approximately $12,000. That helps set that difference between that 35,000 and that 27,000. So undocumented students could pay that in-state tuition. The requirements for the AB 450 waiver is that the student must reside in California and must have graduated from a high school here in California as well. The average cost of attendance after financial aid for in-state students is around $10,811. The average cost for after financial aid for out-of-state is around $25,000, and the average student debt is around $15,531. Now, keep in mind that the Cal State system has a lot of grants, scholarships, loans, and work studies that are available to each of their students. There are specific ones focused on affinity groups. There's things based on merit, on essays, work study that's available for students. That's why it's so important to file that FAFSA and the California DREAM Act. But just keep in mind that these numbers don't reflect everybody's financial circumstance, so therefore it can range heavily. There's a possibility to just pay absolutely nothing if your family makes around $80,000 or less. So just keep in mind that your family income as well as the specific schools play a huge factor in what financial aid is available to you. So don't let these numbers discourage you. And finally, what are the benefits and what are the requirements for a Cal State? So you must have graduated from a high school, have a high school diploma equivalent such as a GED, have satisfied your A through G requirements, have an overall 3.0 GPA or higher, submit the Cal State application before October 1st if you're trying to get into the fall semester. And in terms of your ACT and your SAT, previous to COVID, these were required, but because of COVID circumstances, there's a temporary pause, at least for this upcoming 2021 and 2022 year. However, this may change and is subject to Cal States. So what are the benefits of attending a Cal State? It's affordable and accessible. So there are approximately 23 Cal States all across California, which makes them a lot more accessible in terms of acceptance rates than UC specifically. There is a less pressure of competitiveness in terms of UCs and in terms of privates. It's affordable, so it's a lot less expensive than UCs and privates by average. There's a larger student body with a higher diversity. That's something that the Cal States take pride in. Extensive networking between the alumni and their graduates. So a lot of the graduates and alumni come back after graduation and help students that are currently attending the university to connect either through non-for-profit organizations or through just clubs or by simply working there. There's a diverse and broad focus of studies. So unlike UCs, which the overall stigma is that UCs are predominantly focused on STEM, the Cal States have a very extensive and large amount of available majors ranging from STEM to all the way to very unique and niche focused majors such as criminology. It's a mostly semester-based system, so the pace is a lot slower and a lot longer than the UCs, which go under a quarter system. Most of them, but not all. And there's more on-campus employment opportunities, which means more financial aid opportunities are available to you in order to pay for your college. So with that being said, I wanted to introduce our guest speaker, Fernando Calvillo. He is a second year graduating in 24 at the Cal State of Fullerton, and he is majoring in public relations and has a minor and is trying to get a minor in political science. He hopes to work and engage in government affairs post-graduation. How are you doing, Fernando?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on here and talking to our
Thank
speaker.
you so much for having me.
All right, so I want to get started by asking, so why did you choose to enroll and attend at a Cal State and specifically at Cal State Fullerton?
So, going out of high school, the two options that I was having conflict choosing between were Cal State Fullerton and UC Merced. I really loved both schools, but essentially I ended up choosing Cal State Fullerton because I loved how close it was to my home. Its affordability is incredible. I know for in-state tuition, our school is averages about like 7,000 per year for in-state, and for out-of-state, it's about 18,000. I know that's kind of scary to hear, but not really with the financial aid that they give you and stuff like that. So essentially, it came down to location, and I know that there's more places that I would love to be around Fullerton. There's a lot to explore compared to UC Merced. It was a lot more isolated since it is a new school and it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. But essentially, it came down to location and the price of the school.
Awesome. So do you feel that financial aid or financial assistance was a significant like challenge or barrier, or were there even more challenges? And like, how did you overcome them?
Okay, so I know that going out of high school, financial aid for anyone can be super scary, especially if you come from a low income family. But trust me, there are a lot of resources in each Cal State and even UCs for low income families, and financial issues should not stop you from pursuing a higher education. Like Luis mentioned earlier, I would recommend getting in touch with the school that you're interested in, financial office, because they will help you and you will eventually overcome that obstacle. I know eventually I did, and I'm at a good place. So I just want to say don't let any financial obstacles stop you from pursuing what you want to do. And in terms of other challenges, as a first generation student, it can be very difficult to find your place at first once you're in college because there's not a lot of people around you. So it's very important to make connections and make a lot of friends too. And you will be navigating a lot of the things by yourself. I know for me, that was in terms of financial aid. I had to navigate through everything myself because my parents had no idea how to fill out financial aid. But eventually, through resources of my school that my school offers, I was able to figure that out. I know that a lot of schools offer a lot of assistance, so they offer a lot of workshops. For my school, we have financial aid workshops. If you're struggling in school academically, we have workshops for that as well. And you just have to go out there and explore your school and find out what you need, and hopefully the school can provide that for you. I know there are a lot of schools who can do that.
Thank you so much. And definitely being a first generation student myself, I can definitely relate to that difficulty in filing financial aid and going through that process
Yeah,
by yourself and trying to find taxes and everything. And when you don't
honestly.
even know how to do it. So definitely that for me, that was a significant challenge. And in terms of like, now that we're on that topic of first gen, has that in some way altered or shifted the way that you like what your goals are after graduation? Or what are your goals after you graduate, or just in general, short term or long term?
So totally. Being a first gen has honestly inspired me so much to push towards a higher education. So I feel like for me personally, considering graduate school would also be an option. And I just want to really give back to my community and my parents who have always been there for me. Eventually, my plans after graduation, since I'm a public relations major, and with that, we do like social media management for it could be for any sort of business or campaign that you would like to work with. I would want to fall under the government area, so work somewhere in government. I know that I've done research in my school, and people who graduate with PR have gone on to work for like congressmen. They've gone to work for businesses in the beauty industry. Basically, any industry that interests you, you can totally pursue. For me, it would be somewhere in the government area. That's one option for me. Another option I've been considering, which is totally crazy because no one in my school has gone this far, but I've been considering law school as a possibility. I've been getting a lot of interest in law school and just working in any government position. So honestly, that's those are my two top options right now.
Awesome. So definitely like that LSAT is gonna be coming in quickly. So you know,
Yep.
it's all right. I know you can do it. So if you could tell your younger self anything, what would it be? What advice would you give yourself?
I would totally give younger self um, some reassurance. And I would tell myself that everything is going to be okay because I know that in high school, everything is just super scary. Like I've mentioned before, you have no idea if you're first gen, you have no idea where you may end up. And I would always be constantly worrying about stuff that is honestly so insignificant right now. Because as I've said, when you move on to college, you're going to find your place and you're going to find a lot of resources to help you, but I know that for me, high school self was just very lost and I had no idea what I was doing, which is honestly just know that you're not alone in that as well. There's a lot of people who are first gen and who will be going into college knowing basically nothing, but know that everything is going to be okay and you're going to find your place and everything is totally just going to be okay in the end.
Awesome. I mean, going off on that, I think like the imposter syndrome is heavy on within first gen students. But there's a lot of resources out there for students. I know here at UCSD we have the first gen program, which
Hmm.
allows students to enroll faster in their classes actually. And you also have mixers or social programs where you meet like mentors that are like second year, already like third years, fourth years that are graduating and kind of guide you through college. And you take it for 1 to 2 years and then they kind of guide you through it, the entire process. So there's a lot of resources and help out there as long as you like look for it and you're willing to take it. Yeah.
Yes.
So with that being said, is there anything else that you'd like to let us know? Any information, any advice, anything that you'd like to tell the students?
If I would have to tell anyone like some helpful information when considering what school you want to go to, I would totally advise you to consider, of course, financial obstacles. I would tell you to consider the location. Maybe you like a location that is very hot or cold. I would ask you to consider diversity. I know diversity can be a tiebreaker for anyone because if you're like me, you come from a low income, you may want to be around more people like that because they'll be able to help you and you'll have more people to ask in case of anything. In terms of academically, once you're in college, I would totally advise people to make friends in every single one of your classes. Literally, this will save your life because you can hold each other accountable in case either of you misses school or for any reason. Just making friends in general is going to make your life in college way easier and you're not going to feel alone. Especially during this pandemic, I've personally felt so depressed and lonely because being behind a screen is not the same as going out with friends in person. But totally once this is over, you're gonna have people to go to. You're not gonna be totally alone. So that's something good to have. And also, don't be stressing too much in your classes. I know that it can be very scary. Your first year is gonna be a year where you'll be trying to find yourself and doing school. And I know a lot of people also work, so that's another thing on top. You're gonna have to find things that you love doing, such as, I don't know, going for a run, or painting, anything that you may like that can help ease your mind. That's gonna really help you in college as well. I know for me personally, I like going on runs, and I like to do things besides school, like spend my time singing, meditating, or any of that sort. That has really made a difference in my life. And overall, you're not alone. Ask questions, go to your school counselor if you have one, go to friends, and you'll be totally fine.
Definitely, very, very strong words of wisdom. Thank you so much. So, with that, thank you so much, everybody, for joining in, and be on the lookout for our next session. It's coming out soon. I don't know when, but it's coming out soon, and it's going to be focusing on our community colleges. Thank you so much, Fernando, once again, for joining us.
All right, thank you so much. It's an honor.